Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at Tweet4 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gentleman still stand. Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and of course, our partners that hold us down. I'm Ron Grant. We are in the heart of Season 7 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a show that is really poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Now, don't worry, it's not always about suits, bow ties, lawyers, doctors. It's about real-life experiences and translating that to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. Thank you all so much for taking this journey with me. We are here today with the one and only Alex Lake, a businessman, a horseman, entrepreneur. He has been doing a number of things, has his hand in a lot of things, but of course, outside of that, he is a husband and a father, and himself raising a generation of young men. We're going to talk about his journey, as well as who may have imparted knowledge into him to allow him to be the man that we see today. It's an interview you do not want to miss. The one and only Alex Lake is joining us on the set of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, we are joined by the man himself, Alex Lake, who is on the set. Alex, first of all, welcome, and thank you for the opportunity and taking the time.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Believe it or not, some persons may be very surprised that I was able to get you to sit on the set of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Cool, calm, always collected, definitely a no nonsense type of guy, but you've always still have been very willing to impart knowledge and share. Not a gatekeeper at all, and I that's a quality that I respect in professionals. For the persons that don't know who Alex Lake is, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a humble BVI lander, entrepreneur, family man, Christian, I love my country. I love to say I'm from the BVI. I am I'm in car rental business. I have a boat charter business. I'm now a certified captain.
Awesome.
Yes. And I love the BVI. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's paradise. I really wouldn't want to live nowhere else.
Okay.
I want to visit many other places, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough. When you look at your journey as a businessman and having, of course, leaving your mark on so many different industries, we're gonna get into each of them and how you came about. But what has your journey as a businessman overall been like?
Well, I'll tell anyone it's always been my passion. I've grown up with parents in business. So it's always been my passion to be an entrepreneur,
Okay.
to thrive in an industry, pushing something that I created. So life and business in the BVI, like anywhere else, has its struggles, right? But it's still a great place.
Mhm.
So you just push forward, stay focused, and just enjoy your endeavors. You know what I'm saying?
When what you just mentioned, though, how would you say you've navigated through some of the challenges, and particularly for young upcoming entrepreneurs, what type of encouragement would you give to them? Because especially in this time, it's not the easiest, and persons would look at an entrepreneur like you, or others, and think that it's a very glamorous life. You work for yourself, but there are a lot of challenges that arise in being in business? What are some of the challenges that you faced?
Well said about the glamour. You can't look at the glamour. And that's what a lot of young people look at, right? They look at the glory, but they miss the story. The greatest word that I have ever come across is a word called patience.
Okay.
In patience, you gotta be patient, you gotta stay focused. If you be patient, you stay focused, and you have a vision, that's all you need. It's not complicated. You just have to be patient, you have to have a vision, you have to know what you want to achieve, and strive to achieve that by any means.
Amazing.
By any means. Just don't allow distractions and people to, it's like on the road, in the BVI especially, sorry to say, you have a lot of speed bumps, you have potholes, but if you're still making your way to Easton to the airport, you're going there, you're going to get there regardless.
Regardless of the bumpy
Regardless of the
journey.
bumpy trip. You know what I'm
Understood.
saying? So once you stay focused, it ain't no magical way. You know, there's no magical remedy. We are going to meet different distractions. And once you stay focused, you're going to achieve just exactly what you want to achieve.
Is there any point in your journey that you weren't focused and you needed someone to say, hey, this way, that way?
Yes, we all lose focus at times. The faster you get back that focus and get back on track is good. That's why it's also good to have people around you. And that's why I always try to speak to a lot of young men who I see might be going off track because, and I street. I don't have, they respect me a lot because I street. You know what I'm saying? So I keep it real with them.
As you should.
And they just, you know, so for me now, I have had people too that have guided me. You know, have always spoken a positive word or give me an idea or an inspiration to, you know, Alex, you're doing good. A pat on the back sometimes is a lot.
Says a lot. It's much needed.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Now you mentioned about the journey and having the various obstacles along the way, but not getting sidetracked, you know, by the bumps on the journey.
Right.
If anyone who would have told you, you know, whether it's 10, 20 years down the road, that you would have been Alex, the man we see today, the very solid entrepreneur, husband, father, would you have believed them?
When you're young, you never feel like you're gonna get old. Put it that way. You never feel like you're gonna be that guy.
Okay,
You know?
okay.
But now becoming that guy, you and during the journey, I've always been one to like talk to the youths them and, you know, encourage them and stuff like that. So even though I may be that guy, I still don't 100% know if I feel like I'm that guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it feels good to be on a mature level and a successful level. Yes, but I always stay humble. So for me, it's like just another day.
Okay. And speaking of imparting knowledge to the young men, because they relate to you and they respect you and they can understand, you have one of the, and I don't even know if it's a hard job, but it's one of the most important jobs that I've ever had as a father.
Right.
3 boys, am I correct?
Correct.
How do you translate your stories into raising a generation of greatness? How has that journey been for you, fatherhood?
Well, my journey, I think, is somewhat reasonably easy in terms of they've seen me along the way. I've been blessed to raise my children in-house. So they've always seen dad go to work, always seen dad either stressing, focusing, planning. So it's easy. And you have to put time into your children. So my boy has been always on a horse track with me when I've been into horse racing for many and many years. I think everybody in the
We
BVI
can
would
get to
know me
that,
from
yeah.
that, right? So I used to bring them on a horse track with me, show them animal love, show them discipline, show them being serious when you're into something, you want to be a champion, you want to be the best, the walk that it entails, little things. So it's not just car rental or boat charter or just that business type. You could show them from right down the racetrack when you want to be the best, what you put into being the best.
That's a good
The
example.
dedication. you know. So and I try to instill that while they were growing up with many things, sports, this, that. Um, I haven't had blessed to have a great athlete in the family, but
Okay.
they played many sports. They were good and whatnot at different things, and you just guide your kids and see where life leads them. You know what I
Understood.
mean?
Is there anyone particularly in your journey that you could pinpoint? You mentioned that there were people, but is there anyone that stood out to you, male or female, along your journey that really poured into Alex?
Poured into Alex, boy. I'm gonna tell you the truth. My greatest friend has been my mother and my father.
Lovely.
Right? Especially my mother. They see her as this big entrepreneur, right? But she loved horse racing. She loved sports, stuff like that. She was always like rough, tough around the edges. She wasn't this nice little Miss Lake where you all see in terms of, she was always a thriver go-getter. And I always admired that. It gave me that zest to want to be like better than her or be as good as her, So it's and I had other brothers along the way, good friends, and that always little competition is good and encouragement. They were there to encourage me also in many aspects of my life, and yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned about before we get to that, the horse racing aspect, because you eloquently mentioned, which is true, that's what most people affiliate you with. We're going to get to that. But you have been hailed by your lovely wife as a champion, as the head of the house. Her describing and really just articulating her love and admiration for you as a husband, as a father, is phenomenal. What does that do for you? Outside of all of the stresses and the chaos of providing and being a businessman, to know that you have that level of support from your boys and your lovely wife.
That's priceless. Let's start at that, It's great in life when you create, or God has created, a backbone for your system, support system, we call it, where you have people that love you, look up to you. So you gotta be careful when you're doing wrong.
Absolutely.
You also, when you're doing right, you have to involve them in your right, in your good, in your blessings. And it makes you, gives you more to walk through those tough times and reasons to want to be the best you could be.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very important.
One of the things that you mentioned in the beginning, when I asked you to, just describe and state who you are for those who don't know, you mentioned Christianity and being a Christian.
Right.
I want to talk about that. Tell me about the role that Christ plays in your life.
Well, he comes first before anything. I pray. I tell my children, I pray when I'm doing wrong. I pray when I'm doing right.
Okay.
I don't leave him out like, I'm this perfect Christian, or I pray when I just need something, or when I doing right. I just so holy. I could be doing something wrong. I be keep it real.
And you're gonna pray.
I gonna pray.
You talk to
You
God.
know what I mean? Yeah. I gonna tell him, hey, be there with me all the time. All the time. I gonna ask him for forgiveness. If I know I'm wrong, I gonna just keep it real. That's my close friend. And I try to always bind that in my children, you know what I mean? And show them that God is real and you need him in your life. He's the creator of all things. He seeth all things. And he make it way for all things to happen.
Amazing.
Good and bad.
Amazing.
You know what I mean?
Thank you for sharing that. So, horse racing, the horseman himself, right? The love, the sport, the hard work, the blood, sweat, tears that would get you and your team and your horse to the finish line first. Where did horse racing come? You mentioned mom was always into it. Where did it come from?
Well, for me, it came from her.
Okay.
Where it came from for her, that's a good question. I've never asked her that question. But she has always been into horse racing from I knew myself as a young little boy. And then it just got more and more heated as I grew up. And then, of course, there was this big pause, I can't remember the years, when there was no horse racing. And then there was, and then I went away to college and school. And then, of course, it wasn't as intense at the time. In the BVI and St. Thomas USVI was still booming. For me, in my personal life, it was, I was on a different journey. Coming back home now, of course, the love for horse racing would never go away. So I got back into it and it took off like a rocket. And I love it. The sport of loving an animal nearly more than even yourself is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get up myself to do something I want to do at 5 o'clock in the morning. But if I know I got to go deal with my horse, I gone. It's just, you know what I mean? But I love horses, man. I love horse racing. I love the sport. It's a sport of kings. I don't know why we don't treat it like a king sport here, because everywhere in the world is a gigantic sport. It's a huge sport. And it's a sport that, if you look at it, it brings people together from all places, all races, all genders, everywhere in life.
Agreed.
I mean, when there's Kentucky Derby, there's the Belmont, there's the Triple Crown, people come from literally everywhere in the world. And in the BVI, when we have big races, people come from all over the place too.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's crazy that we've let it fall apart.
Is there anything that the sport has taught you personally?
Whew, many things. We talk about that patience. In horse race, you gotta be patient. You gotta have a genuine love for it. It also teaches you to be thorough and caring. So that for sure is, and competitive. It gives you that drive. You want to win. We used to have some serious competition on there. We trash talking for months. We want to win. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the crazy thing about horse racing, I'm gonna say it again. People know me. I go to St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John. People know me, And I like, where do people know me from? All kind of people meet me and know me from being in horse racing. Either they didn't meet me, they see me, they know about me, they've met me, something. But I could say horse racing make me popular in the BVI.
Okay.
In the Virgin Islands. Everywhere I could go St. Croix, somebody, I know you from horse racing, And that's beautiful because it shows you how unified it is, you know what I'm saying? And I have friends in St. Croix, that used to come here to race, but because we always show them this love, right? This inter-island love. Me and them like best of friends. We don't even got to talk for years. When they see me, it's a handout, daps, let me buy you a drink, something to eat. They feel like they owe me something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it go both ways. I feel like I owe them something too. I see them as like, what? What's up? You know what I mean? What going on?
You mentioned that and it goes without saying, because it's not only the elephant, it's the elephant in the country. I'd put it frankly that it's not the elephant in the room, it's the elephant in the country, that it is what it is now. But most importantly, what would you like, without even getting into any of that, what would you simply like as a horseman yourself, someone who has dedicated and sacrificed much for the sport, transcending through different generations, from your mom to yourself to now your boys? What would you wish that not only the people, but the leaders would understand about the important role the sport itself just plays in our culture?
I love that question. I'm happy you asked me that question because when we were racing horses on the track, there's many young men from the community and sometimes extended communities that would come there in the morning times or in the afternoon times, want to learn about the horses, willing to work, willing to get messy,
Dirty, yeah.
willing to get dirty, willing to sweep up, willing to do stuff that they wouldn't do at home, right? And we used to give them a little money. We used to give them a little advice, a little inspiration. Do good in school or else you can't come back with the horses. They would do that just because we tap into their parents. It's about community. The government have to understand that horse race created community. It created togetherness. You would go to horse race the day of the race, meet old people you never see in how long. Old people so happy to see you. You happy to see them. People from different communities, family members or friends who you ain't see how long come from St. Thomas, Statola, St. Croix. And it used to bring a lot of togetherness, a lot of, and if they would understand the importance of the VI love that they preach and the togetherness that we are missing out on, and we becoming more, divided. They would then want to make more of an effort to get this thing back on track. It used to create jobs, it used to create money for some people, and it could create a lot more if it was taken more seriously. It could create a lot more jobs for people. So it could be a business entity if invested in right, if run properly. It could create jobs for people. All these young boys that don't have jobs, that just idle on the road, they could be walking on a horse track. They could be helping with horses. They could be helping with the facility.
Upkeep, yeah.
Upkeep of the facility, upkeep of the track.
I have to ask you, when it comes to the sport, and I'd be honest, it's a huge pet peeve of mine. Huge pet peeve of mine. As a Christian yourself, we're gonna get deep here because we've oftentimes glorified and described ourselves as a Christian community, right? And because of that, persons frown upon certain sports like horse racing, but particularly when it comes to the parimutuel betting. And for lack of a better word, I can't understand why we are still so ignorant, dated, and selfish to our beliefs that we don't see what that ignorance and selfishness and how it is hampering the development of our country.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on, over the past few decades, that we have yet to solidify ourselves and establish a proper parimutuel betting organization that could have very easily contributed to our community in more ways than one?
I was so proud of Andrew Foy when he passed the
Gaming and betting.
gaming and betting law. It is such a necessity in this new age, this day of life, and it's everywhere. I have seen so many Christians playing the tickets that the
Yes,
ladies
yes.
sell on the side
That
of
were
the
illegal
road.
for years.
I
Carry
have
on.
seen them. I have bought up in so many of them on cruises growing up, cruise ships. And the first place you'll meet them is in the casino. They're on the slot machine and they're having a grand time. You can't tell them they're on vacation. You can't tell them nothing. I don't see them any less as a Christian because of that.
Thank you.
I see them enjoying themselves. They say the Bible is talk about liquor, just like they talk about gambling. Is anything in excess.
Correct. The abuse of it.
The abuse of it. That's all. We do gamble on the racetrack. We do gamble in the sport of horse racing. We have to hand-to-hand bet, what we call hand-to-hand betting, because there is no parimutuel. But parimutuel, you could bet on horses and sports anywhere on the wall. And it goes on any and everywhere. So they trying to fight that down like it's some bad thing. But while fighting that down, as you said, what about all the good that it brings? What happened to all the good that the sport brings? Trying to fight down one thing, which is ain't even needed to fight down.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But it brings so many good. They see how much good we do for the young people down there, and you know, it brings it's when you put it on a scale, what they think is so Christian or not being Christian versus all the great and the good that it's doing, it dynamically outdoes itself. You know what I mean?
Thank you for sharing that. I've referred to you as a horseman, which is accurate,
Right.
but on a sportsman
Right.
arena, is there any other sport outside of horse racing that you may wish that there was more support lended to overall?
Well, I wouldn't even pick a sport.
Okay.
I feel all the sports in the BVI has gone way down. Where softball used to be. Don't talk about where basketball used to be, where there used to be young legs against East Rockers and everybody come out somewhat. So I wonder who watching the children?
Right.
Because all the parents are out.
Gotcha.
The basketball arena is packed from floor to top. And I love to see people come out, enjoy themselves and be part of something. Basketball used to be the thing. You know what I mean? And now it's like, I don't even know what the thing is because the youths them don't have nothing to be part of. That's why to me, we ain't realize how wayward them is because we're getting them into. Where's the basketball? Where's the softball? You know?
Yeah, extracurricular involvement.
Even the soccer, we're not a great big soccer. For British territory, we're not a great... Soccer hasn't always been our thing.
Correct.
We've played it here and there, no problem. But what's the sports being pushed in the BVI? I don't see not one sport in the BVI being driven. And then even track and field. Sorry to say, I don't want to sound terrible, but we only big up somebody after the fact, after they've become something. Then we're like, hey, this and that.
She's one of us, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of us, she's one of us. But where was the push in their life? Where was the help that they may have wanted? We could have had many more her and many more him.
Agreed.
But where's the support? It's not there. It's really not there,
Indeed.
Unfortunately.
Well, I appreciate your authenticity. Viewers, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We are chopping it up with perhaps one of my most enjoyable conversations so far. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. The very authentic himself, Alex Lake, has been sharing his wisdom and knowledge. Alex, I have to ask you, as a proud Virgin Islander, we'll get to some fun questions now. A proud Virgin Islander, someone who has been born and raised and you've been poured into and now you continue to pour back into. What does it mean to you? What does being a Virgin Islander mean to you?
What it means to me, it means that this is home. And if this is home, you take care of your household. You take care of home. You have to give back both to the people of the country itself as a island, and you have to you have to represent yourself as a proud BVI lander, both at home and when you go abroad. You know, so I'm into tourism. I love to make the tourists that come here. We say we are a tourist-driven country. We say tourism is our first main industry, along with the finance industry. And I'm happy to be in that industry. I love to make people smile, laugh, tell them about the BVI,
Mhm.
educate them about the BVI as much as I can, and show them the BVI. Let them see how beautiful this little place is. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite Virgin Islands cuisine? It's a VI food that you could eat all the time.
Cuisine. Okay, well, that one tough. That one tough.
One or two.
Cuisine, I would say I like a nice saltfish,
Nice choice.
right? What else would I say as a BVI cuisine? Unfortunately, for a BVI lander, I don't eat some of the BVI dishes.
Okay, fair enough. But saltfish
But
is good.
of course, also like a nice fish in mayonnaise
Mhm,
sauce, a
Perfect
nice
choice.
hard nose. I could kill that all day, every
My
day.
favorite fish. My favorite fish.
Yeah, man.
Do you have a favorite Virgin Islands drink? It could be non-alcoholic or alcoholic, a local drink.
Local BVI drink? No, not
No?
exactly.
All right. Do you have a favorite sister island?
I like Just Van Dyke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good choice.
Mm.
If you could take someone from VI yesteryear, and that just means that they're no longer with us, they passed away. It could be personal or professional, but someone from the Virgin Islands who, if you had the opportunity to take them for lunch or dinner, who would that person be and why?
Oh God, that's bias. That's very a biased question. Because for me, it'd be my grandmother.
I figured you'd say that.
Me and her was so tight. I love her to death. It would be my grandmother. I would love to just delight her one more time and take her for something to eat. And a sister island, because so much so that when my grandmother knew me and we knew each other, I was never a captain. I was never into boating. You know, I didn't grow up in boating. Boating is something I fell in love with, being just hanging out with my friends on the sea.
Okay.
Liming. We call it liming. And liming actually took me into a new career, which is boating, made me a certified captain, and I get to be out there in all these neighboring islands with people in all walks of life. You know what I mean? So it's beautiful. But I would love to take her sailing. You know, it would dazzle me to take her somewhere nice. We have a nice lunch, you know, something nice, maybe even take a little stroll in the water and take her back home and just watch her face glow.
There's no doubt in my mind. But do you believe that if she were still here, she'd be proud of you?
Very much so.
Good.
Very much
good,
so.
Good.
Very much so. She always believed in me. She always would be on my mother back. Hey, you take care of my grandson, and my grandson, he gonna be the one. Like, you know, she always had the things she used to say is like she just manifests in my life. you know?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So it's just nice when you can look back at somebody who cared about you and saw the potential in you before you even saw it in yourself. You know?
Agreed. Alex, I want to take this opportunity to thank you personally and commend you. A lot of persons sometimes think of giving back or pouring into the next generation as always having to have a photo op, always having to make it known, you know.
Correct.
And I understand now more than ever why some persons stray away from service organizations. They stray away from certain activities because giving of your time, giving of your expertise and your resources to the next generation
Right.
always it doesn't always have to be announced or put on a billboard.
Of course.
You are such a person who have for a very long time used your own personal experiences, your challenges, and your success to pour into the next generation. I've seen it myself.
Right.
And I want to take this opportunity to commend you and to thank you for your contribution in raising a generation of greatness outside of your three boys, but just imparting and giving of your best self to what you see, the gaps that you see
Right.
in trying to fill those. So kudos to you.
I appreciate
You're
it.
most welcome. And
Yeah,
thank
man,
you for
appreciate it.
chopping it up and sharing your wisdom on the set.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care.
Viewers, that is all the time we have. Season 7, we are off to an amazing start. I don't know about you, but we are really receiving a lot of wisdom, a lot of love, and touching on some hardcore issues as it pertains to how we can make not only ourselves, but the next generation of greatness in our beautiful British Virgin Islands the best ever. I'm Ron Grant. Have a beautiful rest of the day, and I will see you next week. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7. Let's go.